Hey there, this is Daniel West. Welcome to the Scrapbook and Cards Today channel. Today we're going to play with some Hero Arts products. Sometimes when I'm playing with my supplies, I'm trying to break out of the literal use of my stamps and dies. And I want to instead try to find a more whimsical way of designing a card with backgrounds that aren't necessarily a landscape with trees and flowers and houses in the background, just literally a painting or a drawing. I want to add kind of a whimsical background to my cards. In order to do this, I've got to kind of think outside of the box. Like, can I create a background with another kind of product, another kind of stamp that doesn't necessarily create a scene, but does add a bit of interest to the overall design without taking away from the actual centerpiece of the card. So we're going to do that today with Bold Prints stamp from Hero Arts, which is, those are their large red rubber cling stamps. And we're going to pair that with a few products that Scrapbook and Cards Today sent me from Hero Arts, called the Through the Woods fancy window die and the color layering hummingbird with coordinating frame cuts. Are you with me? Let's go have some fun. So here's a look at the supplies we're going to use today. I have the Through the Woods fancy die. I have the color layering hummingbird combo, which includes the coordinating frame cuts. And we're going to start out our project by inking up our hummingbird outline image with Hero Arts Intensified Black ink. You'll notice that underneath my cardstock I have placed a bit of foam, fun foam. That's to help with the impression, but I had it off a little bit, so I missed a piece of my impression there. And I just go back and line it up. Don't re-ink it. You don't want any double lines anywhere. I just stamped that one little part again. And now I'm going to lay my base layer of ink down. So in color layering, you want to use the most solid stamp with the lightest ink. And I chose ink, mint julep for that ink. And here I'm going to place some emerald green, which is a darker green ink, and then fill in the little throat area of my hummingbirds with ultra pink from Hero Arts. Now I'm going to stamp repeatedly my little flower image because I want several of these. And I make extras just in case I make mistakes, which actually did happen when I was die cutting. I'm going to add my first layer of pink ink to my flowers, which is cotton candy. And then we're going to move on to another layer of ultra pink. Now these are still wet when I stamp my ultra pink down, and so the definition isn't super strong. The contrast between the two is not super strong. If you want them to be more contrasted, just heat set those first layers and then add your second layer. After they dried, though, I added a few of the detailed stamps with crimson ink from Hero Arts, just to add a bit of interest to my flower bunches and some difference between the flowers. So I'll die cut these out with the coordinating frame cuts, taping them down with some purple tape and running this through several times until I get all of my little die cut images ready to pop onto my projects. Now for the background, I'm going to add some Bees and Flowers bold prints to some peony cardstock and some Arctic cardstock from Hero Arts using matching ink, or an ink that really does coordinate with this cardstock. I chose cotton candy for the peony cardstock and mint julep for this Arctic cardstock because the Arctic is going to get some ink blending on it. I'm just going to adhere these to the front of A2 size cards. You can get these cards as well from Hero Arts. And then run through my Through the Woods die to create a panel on the front. This is the window that we're going to pop up on the front. For the Arctic card, our background, I'm going to add some ink. The first for the sky is Deep Ocean, and then some emerald green ink using Hero Art's blending brushes. The ink will settle back a little bit, but I wanted to add a little bit more there on the bottom and have kind of an ombre sky there with the darker ink at the top and lighter as it reached the horizon. So this is the most literal of the whimsical backgrounds. You'll see the flower petals in the sky, but there is a bit of a horizon there. So you do get a bit of a literal landscape there, but with the additional whimsical sky. And I'm going to add my hummingbird in here, doubling up on the foam tape behind it and popping in my flowers there on the left with a single square of the 3D foam squares from scrapbook adhesives. And I'm going to stamp my Hello Sweetie sentiment there and add some glimmer pen. This is a glitter brush from scrapbook.com. You could use Wink of Stella as well, but look at the shimmer and shine this adds to our hummingbird. I just think it's the perfect addition to our centerpiece. This is our focal point, what we want people to see first. And then I'm going to add some embellishments here, some boiled sugar jelly hearts from Trinity Stamps. These are my absolute favorite embellishments. They pick up the color behind them because they're transparent. And I'm going to put them on in the shape of a W. You could say a zigzag if you like, but I use W because that's my last name's first letter, and it reminds me of a W. So it's kind of a squished W. It's my little formula for adhering embellishments on every single project. I do this with sequins, and I do it with jelly hearts as well. Here I'm going to pop up my panel over the peony cardstock. No ink blending on this one, just the whimsical look of the sky or background here. And filling it in, you could imagine that's just a field of peonies, or it's in a garden full of peonies or flowers. And I'm going to adhere my hummingbird right to the front of my panel. Let's create a sentiment strip with some Versamark ink and some pitch black cardstock. I'm going to use an acrylic block here. I often use my Misty for these things, but I decided I just wanted to create a project without a positioner. I'm going to put this through my Tim Holtz guillotine trimmer, lining it up with the plastic guide on the edge. I'm going to cut the top of this sentiment strip off, then flip it over and run it through again using my 90-degree straight edge from before. And now I'm going to adhere this sentiment strip, tucking it right underneath my hummingbird, having cut the end off at an angle. And then I will trim off the excess with my Tim Holtz shears here at the end. I've also added some more jelly hearts to this project, and I think they both turned out really fun. I hope you'll give this technique a try, making a whimsical background for your window dies. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.